In this episode of The Noise, we're going to break down Apple's iPhone keynote, specifically everything you need to know if you are a video professional, including a new surprise product launch from Blackmagic. Let's get into it. All right, welcome everyone. Addy, good to see you. Where are you right now?
Hey, nice to see you, Joey. I'm in London. Yeah, I'm here for an advertising conference this week. And guess what? The entire city's on a lockdown because there's a tube strike. And so I'm just out here walking on the sidewalks like millions of Londoners.
Our hotel is close to where you got to go.
I've never walked this much before living in LA.
You can take the black cab, right? Like those cabs are cool.
So the streets are completely overwhelmed by cabs and Ubers.
Okay.
I'm surprised I got this far.
No Waymos. The Waymos haven't figured out haven't done the knowledge test yet.
Waymos will die here.
They will torch them.
Yes.
All right, so that's to say, Addy did not watch the keynote. I watched all of the keynote. So I'm going to break down the kind of relevant updates for media professionals to Addy and everyone else here. And so it's going to be Addy's real-time reaction because he doesn't really know what happened. I'll say overall, like some cool updates, but not as much as I thought. AirPod updates, watch updates, and then iPhone was the biggest updates. Nothing with Apple TV, nothing with Vision Pro. So spoiler alert, that didn't come. The thing kind of wrapped up and I was like, oh, all right, that's it. It's like an hour, 20 minutes, hour, 10 minutes. So spoiler
You're
alert there.
disappointed in yet another Apple keynote. This seems to be a pattern.
I'm less disappointed in this. I mean, I think some of the updates were pretty good. I mean, we've got a whole new version of a phone, which we'll talk about. But let me just skim through. I mean, look, I said, I'm not going to dive deep into too many of the updates, but I thought the AirPods, they have an AirPod Pro 3.
Oh, AirPod Pro 3. That sounds exciting. I love the Pro series of the AirPods.
Yeah, I have the Pro, I think the Pro 2, and they are definitely my favorite headphones I've ever had.
Pro 2 was a big improvement over Pro 1 for sure in the noise cancellation.
Yeah, and the big update with this is live translation. So live translation, it can hear someone speaking to you, and it works in combo with your phone and translates it in your ear. So like the real life earworm that I keep forgetting the name of from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, that's pretty neat, man.
That's cool. And then when you speak back, it can either display it on your phone and you show the person your phone, the translation back, or it could also speak it out of your phone. And then if you are with someone who has two AirPods together, it'll do the live translation like with both of you in your ears.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is super useful. I mean, I travel quite a bit in foreign countries. I could totally get used to this.
Yeah, I think this is helpful. Like, I mean, I'm thinking even back to when I've like been on camera crews for Spanish language documentaries, and like I don't speak Spanish, and so I've been camera operating, so I'm just filming stuff. But it definitely would have been helpful to at least just have something in my ear so I can just hear, like, have a general understanding of what's happening, along with usual being able to communicate in the streets.
Remind me if the language translation models are non-AI or AI?
So that's the thing. So that's interesting. Or that's what I want to talk about because we have talked about this before. It seems like they are running locally. It said that it has to be the AirPods 3 and that there's computation running on the AirPods themselves in conjunction with Apple Intelligence models running on the iPhone. So it sounds like it's running locally.
It's doing local inference on the iPhone.
Yeah, that it doesn't have to, doesn't have to have a network connection to do processing on the cloud. I would also imagine that would just take too long for this to be practical, that it needs to happen on your phone. Yeah. So I think, and we talked about this in the past episode of the other models that came out, or they're not on the phone, but just the other models they're launching that are more designed to be fast models that can run on local hardware.
Yeah, we covered this on the last episode. They have some VLM, visual language models, that do identification of a frame and the features in the frame. So more like the eyes of the computer, if you will.
This is that demo of the two people speaking and wearing AirPods. I mean, it's edited, so I'm curious what the delay is like and just how natural that is to like have a conversation with someone where you're waiting for the translation. But obviously this is, better than nothing.
And I know Apple's a little bit behind on AI, and that's sort of the public consensus. But when they roll out something like this, I can guarantee it's going to be pretty sleek. Like their execution is, always typically exceptional.
Yeah, they've usually never been first, but they've been the best. Exactly. When they do roll something out.
And I'm sure our viewers know this, like Samsung has had this with the Galaxy earbuds for a while. So I would be curious to compare this to the Samsung.
Do you know if Samsung runs locally or does it still need a network connection?
I'm not sure about that. My frame of reference for all of this stuff is Google Translate, which is run on the cloud.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be curious about
Typically,
that too.
it's run on the cloud, and then you can actually download a language pack onto your local device, and then it could run locally there.
Is it still, and that's able to take the speech to text and translate locally if you have it downloaded?
So like, for example, if I'm in Japan and I don't have good reception, I download the Japanese language pack, and then it's doing a lot more work locally.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, also that's a good, because I didn't get into the nitty gritty, but like how many languages are supported with this, and do you have to pick and download, like, are they all downloaded locally on your phone? Probably not. I'm going to guess it's going to be like if you're going to a Spanish-speaking country, you download the Spanish pack ahead of time or something.
Yeah, and also, is it auto-detecting the language, or you're picking the language, like
that too.
Some of those nuances.
Yeah, and I don't know what minimum level phone you need to have as well. Like, I don't know if this is like you have to have an iPhone 16 or newer that had that, quote, Apple Intelligence features, or if this works with older phones. The main thing was this was tied into an AirPods Pro 3 feature, so you do need to have that, but I don't know what phone you need to have.
Did they say how much the Pro 3s were going to be?
I think same price, $250.
Wow. I mean, you're just getting more and more out of that $250 every time.
And the other cool updates more in the fitness space was it could take your heart rate and measure your heart rate in your ear, which I'm also wondering if that's an extension where they can tie you into Apple Health benefits even if you don't have an Apple Watch. Right. So it's like, if you have the AirPods, we'll still take your heart rate and put it in Apple Health, and maybe that'll entice you a bit more to get an Apple Watch.
Interesting. Well, the Apple phone itself can track a lot of health metrics. Like every time you have it in your pocket, it's measuring your steps and what distance you're running. And then even if you like sleep next to it, which I'm guilty of and a lot of people do, it kind of measures your sleep in a weird way.
Oh, really? What, from like the microphone or something?
It at least knows when you're sleeping and when you're awake.
I remember a long time ago, before the Apple Watch even existed, someone built an app where the idea was you would put your phone under your pillow and it would use the sensors to try to measure your sleep just with the iPhone. And it had to be on your bed, like under your head, which is not the best spot for it.
I think Apple obviously would recommend that you wear the Apple Watch to bed, but I think that a lot of people find it too sort of clunky and huge to kind of wear to bed. That's when
and you need to charge it too, and that's usually a good time to charge.
Doesn't last a full 24 hours, right?
Yeah, I think the newer ones do, and actually there was a sleep update feature that has like a sleep score and stuff with the new Apple Watch, or the new Apple Watches. I won't go. There wasn't really, most of the Apple Watch updates for health stuff, and there's an Ultra 3 and general stuff like that, but nothing to really go into. But the one thing was there was like a sleep score, and it definitely sounds like that's kind of competing with Whoop and those other, always on
Fitbit, and, all the
wearable trackers that have like a score in your overall recovery score and stuff. All right, the big reveal, the iPhone stuff. So iPhone 17. Obviously not a surprise. So this one's just sort of the base model iPhone. Main updates here were just a lot of stuff that was sort of in the Pro versions is now in the iPhone. So screen update, refresh rate, 120 hertz.
I thought they already had that on the 16.
I think that was in the Pro. They said it was what was in the Pro is now in the baseline model. Okay. So they all have 120 hertz. And then the other big update, I mean, a couple, bumps up with the camera, but the forward-facing selfie camera is what got the biggest update. And so it is now also they revealed each iPhone in a different location.
Hey, and that's your hometown.
Did my hometown of South Beach, Miami Beach, for the iPhone reveal. But the big update was front-facing camera. Yeah, South Beach. It's so funny that they're like shooting right on South Beach.
Scarface was shot right behind her.
It literally was. Yes, that is the exact street. Yes. Scarface to Apple iPhone 17 reveals.
Yes, we've come a long way.
And they did say again that this entire video...
This is giving me Grand Theft Auto vibes.
It will be Grand Theft... This was Grand Theft Auto 2, and now soon it'll be Grand Theft Auto 6 when that comes out again.
That's right.
Or comes out, finally. Anyways, iPhone 17. So the big thing with the selfie camera, or the selfie sensor, is they went from a more horizontal shaped sensor to a square sensor. And so this means that you could take horizontal photos, vertical photos, just by holding your phone up, like, horizontally, and it'll automatically adjust the crop ratio without losing quality. So if you want to take a horizontal selfie, you could still just take your photo like this. Quality increases, and also use a combination of Apple Intelligence to detect faces. And so if it's like a group shot, it detects a group shot, it like automatically zooms the camera out to take a wider selfie shot. So a lot of selfie improvements. And I think we just saw the stat here that they said 500 billion selfies were taken on iPhones just last year.
Yeah, they have a lot of training data, don't they? I hope you didn't opt in for that.
I would assume they don't train on all the photos.
One caveat I see here is you actually don't need AI to detect faces. A lot of professional cameras have face detection, especially for autofocus features, and there's no AI on those cameras.
You've mentioned this before, that face detection is an old technology, right?
Yeah, it's a remnant from computer vision. So what it's looking for is features. So first, it'll find an oval on top of a torso, and then it'll look where our eyes and our nose and our mouth typically go in the same place, no matter who you are, like given a certain tolerance. So it's just recognizing patterns.
Yeah, makes sense. And yeah, you can see here the group shot demos and automatically adjusting the framing. Yeah, so I mean, that was probably the biggest camera update. And this has rolled out into all of the iPhones that they're launching.
I mean, very minor, but, it does help with the overall sort of expectation.
Yeah, and I'm like kind of going over the camera specs. I mean, there was more the strength updates and speed updates, new sensor, which I'll go over the other new sensor in the next phone. But yeah, just, overall performance boost. Everything's a bit better. Now, the big reveal, it wasn't really a surprise. People kind of already predicted it, but it's the
I never saw anything about it. What do you mean?
The iPhone Air. Yeah, pretty much everything that was leaked online was accurate, and I could just think back, if Steve Jobs was still around, like heads would have rolled because this was
for sure. He would have thrown the mug at somebody's face.
Yeah. Yeah, they sent the SWAT team after that reporter that had a advanced prototype of the phone. So
I mean, I'm impressed. That's actually pretty thin. This reminds me of the Motorola Razr from 20, 30 years ago.
Oh, like the Matrix? No, they had the other version, but I know the super thin one. The super thin one, yeah. Would flip. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, I hope they butt tested this, because this also reminds me of the iPhone, was it the 8 or the X, where, you would sit on it and then the glass would bend if you put it in your back pocket?
I'm imagining that they did. And is it a titanium frame?
I don't remember, but they did say they polished it to like a shiny reflective edge, which also made me think of smudging, easy smudging.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's going to be. Thing? Do you need rubber gloves? Because it might flip off your fingers.
They have a bunch of new cases and stuff. And actually, the cases I was excited about, one was a super thin plastic one that they're like, it's a millimeter thick, which actually there's a company that already has made cases like this for a long time. And so I guess they're going after their business called Peel. But then the other case is an edge bumper case, which I'm excited to see that, because I think it was the iPhone 4, which was like kind of the first blocky square one, had that just edge bumper case. And that was one of my favorite cases because it didn't cover the back. It just added some extra protection to the edge. So they brought that back, unless I'm misremembering, and that has been back. And then the battery life, I forgot. It was like all day-ish, but then they have a battery pack that you can attach to it. But because it's so thin, the thickness of the extra mag battery pack kind of makes it regular size, but it gives you, it says you could watch 40 hours of video with that extra battery pack.
I guess you take that on the plane or something.
Yeah, on that long-haul flight. They're like, long enough to watch the entire season.
Battery life to have a thinner phone?
No, I'm the maximalist all the way. So like, this does not interest me. But I know people who would be into this. I know people who still buy the very small phones because they're, just trying to have a more minimal phone. So I think I know people who'd be into this. I've seen some online comments of like, why do we want a thin phone that doesn't fold? Like, if the only reason we'd want something thinner is if it folded, but this doesn't fold. It's just a thin phone with a notch, with a notch on the back.
Every once in a while, they do these experiments, and they're very expensive experiments if you think about it, where they'll launch a variant of a very popular product, and then just to see if it sticks, right? The biggest example I could think of is the iPhone Mini. If you remember, like 5 years back during the pandemic, they had the smallest iPhone ever made. And it just, nobody bought it because everybody got used to the gigantic size of phone that you and I have. So, I'm a little skeptical about this thin phone. At the end of the day, I think we care about battery life, performance, display brightness, and all those things way more than we care about the thickness of the phone.
Yeah, I think so. I'd be curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this sells. They didn't say, but there has been online speculation from Mark Ruman on Bloomberg, who covers Apple, and he's usually pretty on the dot, that like the product map was the thin phone this year, and then like a foldable phone in the next year or two. So it expected that would come. I'm sure they had to develop this technology first to then figure out the stuff to get it small enough to make the foldy phone in the future, but you get this for now.
Yeah, there's this like trifecta of copying each other that's going around where Samsung, Apple, and Google just copy each other's features. So obviously the Galaxy earbuds and the AirPod Gen 3, that reminds me of sort of kind of mimicking each other. And then the folding phone, right? Samsung had it first, and now Apple will most likely go in that direction. And then Google Pixels are now MagSafe, so they copied Apple.
Oh, yeah.
They're all sort of just biting each other.
Yeah. And figuring out how to dodge each other's patents. Yeah. Also in the Nano, not the Nano, the Air, it does break. So it is definitely in between regular iPhone and the Pro iPhone. So it has the Retina display. So it has a sharper display than the regular iPhone. It looks like it has a single camera on the back, but it's actually like 2 sensors in it. So it has both your standard wide, not the super wide lens, but your standard wide lens, and then a telephoto sensor and lens built in. So it's one, looks like one, but they call it their fusion camera. And so it's got 2 cameras in it. All right. And then now the big one, the iPhone Pro update. So this was the new A19 Pro chip, which they kept talking about and basically saying that it's got neural accelerators, which sounds like they're laying the groundwork for running the AI stuff on the on device.
Right.
But they didn't really get any specifics about that. I think they learned the lesson from last year of talking about what. I could be
wrong, but when the iPhone 16 Pro dropped with the previous chip, they also had similar claims of local inference. But then that was the precursor to announcing Apple Intelligence, which, as we know, never really rolled out correctly.
Correct, yeah. But I picture this as the groundwork for future stuff and the models that we've sort of seen come out and whatever else they develop, that this has the processing power to handle that locally. This was their comparison. So, you always have to take their numbers with a grain of salt. But basically, they said this A19 Pro chip is 3 times the compute of the A18 Pro, and that it's at MacBook Pro levels of compute power.
Very cool.
And that it has these neural accelerators. And they also talked about how they had a big improvement in heat dissipation, which is actually really important because like recording video and doing very processor intensive stuff on this phone, the 15, it gets hot, and it can get hot enough where you'll have file corruption or the phone will shut down if you're like doing something like recording in ProRes video, to the point where like Tilta makes iPhone cooling accessories to cool the iPhone. To cool the iPhone if you're recording video so it doesn't overheat. So that says they've addressed that or like done a lot better heat dissipation to improve that. And they also built a new chip called the N1 chip, and that was what we're showing on screen now. And that is a single chip that integrates Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Thread into a single chip. So all the connectivity stuff is in one chip. They said it's how they do the watches and I forgot other device, but it's basically what's in the watches, but now it's in the phone. So it makes it it's their own chip that they developed, and I assume that can unlock future things in the future. But yeah, that's the first time it's going to be in a phone with this new chip that they developed.
That's cool. I could have sworn they already had similar system on chip integration in the past, but it sounds like I guess not for the iPhones.
All right, and then the camera stuff. Honestly, a lot of the camera focus was more on still photo cameras, or just taking still photos versus video, but we'll get to video a little bit later. But so the Pro and the Pro Max, basically the updates are exactly the same. They really didn't even talk about the Max. They just acknowledged the Max exists. But so it seems like basically the Pro and the Max exactly the same, just the Max is a bigger screen. And you can get more storage in the Max. I think that's really the only difference.
Okay, got it. Yeah, in the past, the Max has had some features that the Pro did not.
I thought so, right?
Yeah, it's like when I remember buying the 15 specifically because the Max had good isolation, vibration isolation.
Yeah, I think the Max was originally only did ProRes too.
Yeah, so typically like they roll out the most M&E film and TV oriented stuff onto the Max first.
That's what I thought. But it seems like they're the same now. This was that 2-in-1 Fusion camera on the Air that I guess I thought I skipped ahead. But this is the Fusion camera on the Air. Let me jump ahead to the Pro. Yeah,
so
and the
it
Max
has a
camera.
sensor shift OIS image stabilization.
All right, and now and then we went to Chicago, and now we're in New York for the Max for the Pro reveal.
Man, who cleaned those streets? See how clean that sidewalk was?
Oh, I know. Everything here looks immaculate. And they did say they shot the whole thing on the iPhone 17 Pro. Like they have I don't know, since the 15. Okay, so the Pro has 3 cameras, or 3 sensors as it normally has. It has, all of the sensors are 48 megapixel. I can't find my wide angle number, but I think the wide angle was what it was before, but now they added a 200 millimeter telephoto sensor.
That's longer. That's longer than before. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be 100, and now it's 200 at f2.8.
Yeah, so they have that 8. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, to get it optically without a digital zoom.
Exactly. Yeah. They're probably flexing that glass inside of that case to go back and forth, have some travel.
Yeah. Oh, this is from the same. This is the Fusion is like where they kind of combine the things in one. So I'm actually curious, like, is it actually 100, like a legit 200 millimeter lens, or is it like a 100 millimeter lens and then it doubles it, and with their machine learning and cleanup, it gives you the effect of 200.
I would imagine it's equivalent, right? So they're really looking at field of view and coverage rather than true focal length.
Right, and that it's sharp enough to pass as a 200 millimeter shot image, but even though it's not technically on a 200 millimeter lens, it's still a 100 millimeter lens.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the size of the sensor, and I mean, there's clear.
And they did say the sensor is like twice as big as the last version. So I mean, these are photo demos. Look, the photos
you would
are
need a lens element
beautiful.
That's twice as big as well to maintain the same focal length.
So they showed a bunch of photos. Basically, this in the camera range stuff, just everything's up to 48 megapixels, and all of the sensors or all of the focal lengths give you a wider range, whether that's truly the wider range or just like with its machine learning and how it cleans it up, that it gives you a better range. You get wide to 200 millimeter telephoto. So, I mean, a pretty big range with photos, and all these demo photos look, really beautiful. But
the photos look nice, and even this footage of him is looking great. I mean, I know there's probably some doctoring going on, but...
13 millimeter was the super wide one.
Nice.
Yeah, so here this demo 13, 24, 28, 35, 48, 100, and then all the way to 200.
Wow, that's cool. That's real cool.
Yeah, definitely going to be very useful for prep work when you're using one of those viewfinder apps to try to get your variety of lenses to shot design.
Yeah, I believe the Blackmagic app does a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of like Shot Pro or Artemis, more of those specific where you match up. It could duplicate the different camera sensors with different lens characteristics to replicate what your field of view would be. And then video, the big one, which, been trying to talk about for a bit. I mean, honestly, they've got some pretty good stuff already, so it wasn't that much to add.
It's hard to improve on the. I mean, they're already at the very top of the food chain as far as cell phone quality goes, right?
Yeah, and the quality record. So ProRes RAW is one of their big updates. So now you've been able to record ProRes for a while, but now you could record ProRes RAW. Those files are going to be insanely large, but you can do it. And you could do it either with, so it doesn't sound like you could do it in the native photo app, but you could do it either with the Final Cut video app, which they launched like last year, I think, or in the Blackmagic app. And they specifically named the Blackmagic app. I'm trying to think of what cases you'd need ProRes RAW. I guess it's there.
They're doing the bullet time thing that they did.
Yeah, so I was rewinding. Yeah, so this is the other option. The other update is now you could do Genlock. So this was the demo. They're like, you could Genlock, so you could do bullet time or other crazy stuff. This does look awesome.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, so
don't remind you that you could do that with AI, but yeah, it does look.
This is very sharp for now until AI catches up to that and realistic. Okay, and then this was the surprise announcement. This was a new product that they made with Blackmagic. It is the Blackmagic Camera ProDock. Let me double check my notes because I didn't get.
This is the missing link.
I didn't get. Usually, I get the press releases after it's public, but I still haven't gotten it yet. So
this looks like it
we'll probably later today.
The lack of time code input and monitor.
Yeah. Right. The thing with the Genlock was I was wondering when they first announced it, I was like, so can you like Bluetooth sync it or can you connect the two cameras? So it still seems like you need additional hardware to do that. It just has the ability to do that, but you got to plug it into this Blackmagic dock, and we don't have the official specs yet. But looking at it, you plug it to the USB-C, and then you get external power. 2 USB 3.2 ports, so that would be fast enough to plug in a hard drive for data. I've never seen 2 port. I'm curious how the 2 ports works and how you can assign your data files.
That's exactly it. I'm just like amazed that all this peripheral I/O gets
can run off
squeezed
one
down
port.
into a single USB-C connector.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then there's a USB 2.0, which, you could probably do some accessories like a focus pull or some other microphone or some other USB-C accessory where you don't need as fast of a speed. HDMI output, and then a Genlock in and a timecode in, a BNC plugs, and then a 3.5 millimeter audio in and out.
Yeah, and don't forget that quarter-inch mount thing that I see. That's
I'm
important.
trying to understand how this is like supposed to mount. Like, is it just supposed to be a really big thing under your phone? It reminds me of I don't know if this was more in the prosumer range, so it probably was off your radar, but Panasonic for the GH4 had released this big, it looked like pretty much similar to this. It was like a big bulky thing that you would attach to the bottom of the camera. It was called the YAG. It was like the YAGH. And it gave you it added additional SDI inputs and outputs, but it was it doubled the size of your camera. It was like a big attachment thing that you put on the bottom. So yeah, I'm curious how this was envisioned to mount, because it does make it a bit
Yeah,
bigger.
my guess is by the time you're rigging this on a rail system or anything, you already have an iPhone mount. You already have something for this.
Yeah, I guess you could always if you had a tilt a cage, you could always maybe
tilt a
side
cage
mount it,
with a quarter-inch.
side mount it on the side or something. So it does seem like you still need to have something to sync your time code, like a Tentacle Sync or I forgot the other brands, but that's one we use a lot. I do kind of wish there was a way, if you were just, I guess maybe you could do it with an app. I don't know if Blackmagic supports it with an app. If there was a way, if you just had a couple iPhones and you were trying to sync the time code on those iPhones for a shoot to each other. If you could
I don't know
that.
why Apple would not just support that over Bluetooth and have it natively in iOS.
I'm wondering, maybe Blackmagic's app supports that, because they do have some useful multicam features. Oh, same with the Final Cut camera app. They do have some multicam features where you could kind of use an iPad as your central multi-viewer hub, and it could link to other iPhones. So maybe that already exists and I've just never used it and I'm not familiar with it.
Also, every single phone that's connected to cellular is on the same clock, right? And I wonder
Is that
what
accurate enough if they could...
That's the thing. I'm wondering
run the time
if
of day.
the default time of day is good enough for most things.
Yeah, I'd be curious. That's a good point too, because
because we got to buy a few iPhone 17s.
I've seen, if you're out in a crowd or you see the clock switch on your phone, and then see other people's screens and the clock switches at the same exact time. It's they're all synced.
It's definitely down to the second. Is it down to a frame or two?
Is it down to the frame? Yeah, I don't know. That's the question. I didn't realize that they did have Asus color support. They said that was already in there. That wasn't a new update, but I didn't know that.
That's cool.
And then some more case updates. But one thing I did find, let me go back to my notes.
This guy looks like AI.
I think one day maybe they just make models of all the presenters. It's not very hard to train the model on the iPhone stances and the iPhone phrases. Our new phone is bigger and better than ever before.
Maybe this is how I should do all my podcasts.
Hello. And welcome. We're excited that you're here. That was the update. Oh, so when I started this, I said the Pro and the Pro Max, pretty much all the same updates. But when I saw that they're rolling out ProRes RAW recording, I was thinking, I hope they upgrade the Max storage from 1 terabyte to more, because that's not going to last long if you're doing ProRes Max internally. So with the iPhone Pro Max, the max storage is now 2 terabytes.
Right.
But if you max it out, that phone is now $2,000. So that is the most expensive iPhone you can get. $2,000. The 1 terabyte Pro Max version is $1,600.
Imagine dropping that thing.
Make sure you get Apple. You get the good Apple Care plan.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, what are your thoughts on what are your big takeaways, big themes for you?
From the video space, gradual updates. It adds more pro-level features to incorporate it into other workflows. Even if this is maybe a C camera, the fact that you have Genlock, we do Genlock all the time with 2 cameras on the Blackmagic cameras. And so, if you got to throw a third iPhone in there, it's just some extra footage, but have it, the time code synced, which just makes life a lot easier later on in post when we're trying to sync everything together. That's cool. That's great that it supports it. Nothing, maybe I'm on the 15, maybe I'll update. It was nothing that was man, really gotta update this one. I mean, it has a new look now, so now there's that notch look factor,
People will know you got the new one.
People will know. Remember when they added the little like red button, action button thing too, and it was like, that was the indicator you had a new phone. Which this whole conversation sounds very silly.
Yeah, my big takeaway is it's really interesting that Apple TV Studios is having a significant influence on the hardware. In that, I think both the F1 movie production as well as 28 years later production significantly influenced a lot of these new developments. I mean, you're talking about all those focal lengths, specifically the longer focal lengths are very cinematic. And then you also have Genlock and DC input and like the Blackmagic device. And this iPhone is seriously moving into prosumer camera category more and more than it was in the past.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is all from like feedback of just working on these
from the production, right?
Larger
like
productions.
The iPhone is being forged in production hell, right? It's
yeah, because there were ways you could do this before, but you had to do like workarounds or maybe send the signal out to something else. So the more you could do it in pocket and shoot, if you're using ProRes RAW as like a crash cam on an iPhone, $1,000 crash cam is, depending what your shot is relatively for super high quality. One thing I found, so I went to the actual iPhone Pro 17 Pro website, and there were a few other video updates that they didn't cover in the keynote because they're probably too nerdy and not relevant. But so there is a new version of Apple Log 2 with a wider color gamut. It also supports broadcast frame rates. So I'm guessing that goes to 5997, which I think it maxed out at 2997 before. And you could record in open gate, which is very interesting.
Yeah, and these are all proper professional camera features, right? Like you talking about open gate, you're looking at an ARRI or a Sony Venice. Like those guys do open gate.
I mean, open gate would be very practical for the iPhone too, because it's like, oh, hey, let's shoot open gate just in case we want our content to be cropped horizontally or cropped vertically.
Yeah, or you want to throw any lens at it, right? Like anamorphics or any sort of boutique lenses. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Were you expecting more in like the sense in the Vision Pro sense? Or the Apple TV space?
Was I expecting more? Always. I think the Apple keynotes have become less and less of major announcements and more of incremental upgrades. And that's only because they sort of have plateaued in quality. Yeah. How much more can you really improve? The game changer for me would have really been a major AI announcement. So some of the stuff that we alluded to in the last episode.
Yeah.
Seeing glimpses of that, I think, would have given me hope that, okay, this phone is now a device that's going to run an entirely new workflow on it. But I'm not seeing any of that. I'm just seeing traditional
I think that was such a mess last year that I don't think they're going to announce that unless it's like 1,000%, like it works, it's locked off, this is ready to ship. That this is not like, oh, we're going to ship this later in the year or something. Like, I don't think they're going to talk about that until it's like it is done and ready for production, like to ship out in the real world. And here's where their demo video with the Pro and stuff they shot with it. And yeah, yes, you can see crash cam demos and stuff.
This looks great, man. This is, every cinema film girls' dream to watch a hardware device go through production.
Yeah. Also, unless I'll dig into the specs, no like LiDAR improvement or update that they mentioned.
On the depth sensor.
Yeah, because the Pro does have that, but they didn't mention anything about any improvement to that sensor.
Yeah, I think they're really focused on cinematic quality as far as, videography goes. That's probably their bread and butter at the moment.
Yeah, maybe when there is a new Vision Pro update or something, then that would tie in more for practical uses that you could do with the Vision Pro.
And the last rumor that I heard was the Apple Watch Series 11, I believe, was supposed to be announced, and it's supposed to have blood pressure monitoring. That was the rumor?
I skipped over that. It was announced, yeah. Yeah, I skipped over that because I was like, well, it's not technically video related, but yeah, there's like a hypertension detector, like warning thing.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that did launch, yeah.
Yeah, that did launch. And then with the Ultra 3, it had more off-the-grid safety features and stuff, like being able to use find my device or send messages for help, even if you don't have to have your phone to do the satellite connectivity with you, so you could do the satellite messaging directly off of the Ultra 3 watch, if you're out off the grid and you need to send like an SOS message or just like updates to people, you can do that just with the watch itself.
That'll save some lives.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Yes, 100%. Definitely useful to have.
Look, to us, these seem like incremental changes. But if you look at the scale at which this is happening, the AirPods business alone for Apple is bigger than Airbnb.
Yeah, that's great.
And
that's
I'm
crazy.
sure the iWatch business is probably almost as big as that. The iPhone business is as big as the MacBook. So you're talking about multi-trillion dollar company with hundreds of billions of dollars in each of these verticals. So, I mean, as long as they don't mess it up, I think they'll keep printing money.
Yeah, every little product they mention is a standalone massive company that would dominate any other the vertical that it's in.
It's like, when they say California is the 6th largest economy in the world, it's like the AirPod business is like the 3rd largest business in the world or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, well, cool. I mean, that's our deep dive. Let us know what you think about everything we talked about in the comments, or what you thought was the most interesting update, or what you would like to see shooting video with the iPhone. I would love to see more updates from the iPhone inside the iPad, because that'd be pretty handy. I think the iPad is underrated for shooting video. You have like a built-in 10-inch monitor. It's good for some stuff.
Joey. Are you that guy in the movie theater with the iPad?
Not in the movie theater, but I'm talking about for more just like, set stuff. Like, hey, what if you shoot with the camera? Your camera has like a giant ass monitor.
You can't.
It's really good
on rigs.
It's really good for a VCam. I have a handheld rig for the iPad.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I found one. Small Rig makes one that you could rig together. Yeah, it's great for VCam. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Going on tangent. We'll end it there. Thanks for everything we talked about. etsnoisepodcast.com.
I don't have a thank you note prepped.
Tell them to subscribe.
Please subscribe.
You need a British accent now. You're in London.
Hope you like the Apple episode. Now, if you want to get more AI info, please like and subscribe below.
I think your
Southern at the moment.
Your Southern accent is better than your British accent.
Yeah, I know. Should I go Southern? No,
we'll just leave it there.
You know what? If you guys like and comment enough, I'll do all the accents, I promise.
All right, thanks everyone. Catch you in the next episode.